Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in today because we're exploring a wonderfully weird and super specific corner of the internet. If you've ever found yourself, completely transfixed by someone cutting up toy vegetables, well, you're definitely not alone. We're going to break down the sensory world of vegetable cutting ASMR. Specifically, we want to figure out the magic behind those little plastic snaps and how they mysteriously create this incredible sense of calm focus.
So here's the big question, right? Why on earth do toy vegetable cutting sounds make our attention feel so much calmer? Honestly, the sound itself is incredibly simple. It's literally just plastic hitting plastic. But when you listen to it, your brain is actually pulling off an astonishing amount of complex work behind the scenes. It's not just passively absorbing noise, it's actively looking for a safe, quiet place for all your scattered thoughts to finally land.
Let's just set the vibe for a second. I want you to imagine that precise sensory feeling. A plastic carrot snaps. A pretend cucumber separates. A toy pepper opens up with this small, distinct click. It's this perfectly gentle rhythm. The toys yield to the knife exactly the same way, every single time. There is zero surprises. It's just crisp, clean audio that instantly interrupts whatever noisy inner monologue you might be dealing with today.
All right, let's look at the brain's prediction engine and how we anticipate that snap. This whole ASMR experience, it's actually grounded in some pretty heavy-duty neuroscience. Back in 2010, neuroscientist Carl Friston detailed something called predictive processing. To put it simply, your brain operates like this massive, non-stop prediction engine. It's constantly, and I mean endlessly, comparing what it expects to happen next with the actual sensory evidence coming in through your eyes and ears. And in the context of toy vegetable ASMR, this prediction is just wonderfully small, perfectly safe, and incredibly reliable.
Let's walk through the actual rhythm of this. First, you see the vegetable and the toy knife. Right away, you know exactly what action is coming. Then, even before the sound happens, your brain expects the physical pressure to build up as that knife presses down. And then finally, you hear it, the confirming snap. That sound doesn't just pop out of nowhere. It arrives at the exact, precise millisecond your brain expects all that built-up pressure to just release.
So here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. When that tiny micro-prediction gets confirmed exactly as you expected it to, your brain actually gets a reward. The moment just feels whole. It feels complete. You expected a specific outcome, and the universe, or, well, in this case, a toy plastic carrot, delivered it flawlessly. That hit of satisfaction, that is the exact foundation of the calm you're feeling.
Moving on, let's talk about the power of imagined touch, or basically, how we feel the sound.
Tactile imagination is seriously incredible. Think about it. You could be sitting at your desk or lying in bed, totally removed from a toy vegetable. But your brain can mentally feel the physical resistance. You can almost feel that little plastic seam giving way under the knife. You imagine the pressure building. You sense the exact moment the resistance finally breaks. Your brain is literally filling in the physical feeling of the plastic yielding, which transforms a super simple sound into something intensely physical. This whole process illustrates what we call the ultimate trio of sensory engagement. First, the ear hears the snap. Second, the eye sees the two toy halves separate. And third, the mind uses that tactile imagination to fill in the physical feeling. This is exactly why watching toy vegetable cutting is so much more engaging than, say, just listening to random sounds on a blank screen. The sound is perfectly anchored to an action that your body instinctively understands. Okay, so let's look at the science of calm and why low stakes are so important here.
I want you to think about cutting real vegetables for a second. It involves sharp knives, you're usually rushing, there's messy cleanup, the whole shebang. Plus, there's the unpredictable, sometimes harsh noise of an actual kitchen. It demands high alertness. Now, compare that to toy vegetable cutting. It beautifully removes all the risk. You still get that immensely satisfying rhythm of the cutting action, but with absolutely zero stress. It is 100% safe, and that lack of stakes makes the sound so much easier to just relax into.
And hey, this isn't just some internet folklore. We're talking about real peer-reviewed science here. For instance, in 2015, Barratt and Davis found that people actively use ASMR for relaxation, sleep, and just general mood support. Then, in 2018, Poerio and their team actually measured physiological changes. They found that ASMR responders literally showed reduced heart rates.
Fredborg in 2017 linked all this to our individual sensory sensitivities, and even way back in 2005, Menon and Levitin showed how pleasant auditory experiences light up our brain's emotion and reward networks. So all this data basically proves that gentle, predictable sensory content creates a genuine, measurable calming response in the body.
All right, let's pivot to finding your focus and how to use ASMR safely.
If you want to try this out, here are some really simple, practical guidelines to keep in mind. First off, always start with the volume a little lower than you normally would. Second, just focus on one object being cut at a time. You want to keep it as simple as possible for your brain. Third, really pay attention to your body's response. Are your shoulders dropping? Is your jaw unclenching? If your attention starts to settle, it's definitely working. But, and this is a big but, always remember that ASMR is just a complementary tool for relaxation. It's a great support system, but it's not clinical medicine or a replacement for professional healthcare for sure.
Now, you might be wondering what actually makes the perfect snap. Basically, a good snap gives your brain this tiny little event that it can understand immediately. It has to be short and it has to be defined. Because if it's too loud, well, it's startling. Too random, that's just noise. And if it's too fast, your brain gets totally overwhelmed trying to keep up. The perfect snap is gentle. It gives your nervous system the exact right amount of time to predict the event, hear the event, and then safely recover.
As we start to wrap up this explainer, let's just break down the true experience of ASMR step by step, nice and slow. It all begins with a simple object. Then comes a slow press. This is exactly where your tactile imagination kicks in. You start to feel that gentle pressure mounting in your mind right before the release.
A plastic snap. This is that precise, deeply satisfying moment of auditory confirmation we talked about earlier. All of that complex science we just went over, delivered in a single, perfect click.
A finished moment, a predictable little snap that interrupts all your scattered thoughts. It's a clean, visual action that finally gives your tired attention a safe place to land. At the end of the day, it's just a harmless toy sound, reminding your body that not every single stimulus in the world has to be an emergency.
Which brings us to our final thought. There's really no universal ASMR trigger out there, mainly because everyone's nervous system is completely unique. The whole goal is just to notice what your body naturally accepts. So I'm going to leave you with this question to explore on your own. Which vegetable cutting sound is the most relaxing for you? Is it the crispness of the carrot, the bumpy texture of the corn, the soft separation of the cucumber, or maybe the hollow click of the pepper? Just pay attention to your focus the next time you hear them. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today, and I really hope you enjoy finding your own perfect moment of calm.